Hello, my name is Santiago Mora, and today I'm going to be talking about the usage of language in public speaking. So first we're going to talk about the meaning of denotative. So what that means is the dictionary meaning of a word, not the way we would think of it when we hear it, just the plain and real meaning of the word as it is. So next is connotative meaning, which is the other type of meaning that we give to words. So instead of just the plain dictionary meaning of the word, is the way we feel when we hear the word and what we relate it to. So when using language, there are some guidance that we need to follow. So you need to use language accurately, clearly, vividly, and appropriately. So one of the things that you want to do when you use language is the use of imagery, which is creating mental images associated with ideas with the words. That's part of making language, the usage of language vividly. Next is the use of abstract words, which are words that are not really that clear, that have a broader meaning. So the opposite of that is concrete words, which are words that are plain and tangible, so things as they are, not broader meanings. So an example of that would be an abstract word could be physical activity, since there are a lot of physical activities. It's not like a plain and straight term, and you would go down from that to a concrete example. So from physical activity you could go to sports, basketball. That's still something broad, but it's more concrete than physical activity. Then you would go to professional basketball, and then a more concrete term, Stephen Curry, which comes from the abstract term physical activity all the way to that concrete term. Next is simile, which is a comparison of term using like or as. So an example of that would be, with eyes glued on their phones, pedestrians walk the streets like zombies after the apocalypse. So the simile here is like zombies. So it's saying that pedestrians aren't zombies, but they're like zombies. This is really similar to the metaphor, which is basically the same. It's a comparison, but instead of doing it like the simile with like or as, you don't use those words. So you specifically just say the term after the first term. So an example of a metaphor would be, America's cities are the windows through which the world looks at American society. So this is just like a simile, but without the like or as. So with a simile it would be, America's cities are like the windows, but here it gets rid of the like or as and goes straight to the windows. So another part of doing language vividly is the rhythm. So whenever you're talking, you want your words and your language to have a certain pattern, and arrange the words in a certain way that would be pleasing to the audience and would give a punch to your message. And this goes with parallelism, which is kind of the repetition of words, and this is how you achieve rhythm when you're talking, one of the aspects of. A parallelism example is rich and poor, intelligent and ignorant, wise and foolish, virtuous and vicious, man and woman. It is ever the same, each soul must depend wholly on itself. And you can see there are a lot of parallelisms. So rich is to poor, as intelligence is to ignorance, and as to wise is to foolish. Those are the parallelisms between two terms. Another aspect of rhythm is the repetition. So as its name says, repetition is basically repeating terms in a sentence or in parts of speech. So an example of that would be, if you want wellness with wealth, come to India. If you want health and wholeness of life, come to India. If you want prosperity and peace, come to India. So obviously here the repeated term is come to India, which wants to be a big part of the message here. And next, another part of the rhythm is the alliteration, which is repeating the initial consonant in close or adjoining words. So basically here, you want the words to be similar, to be similar, So basically, nothing great is accomplished without cooperation, compromise, and common cause. So here, co is the alliterated consonant that goes with the rhythm. And finally, for the rhythm, is the antithesis. So that's the juxtaposition of ideas, which are usually connected, but actually contrast with each other. So an example of an antithesis would be ask not what you could do for ask not what your country can do for you, and what you can do for your country. That's a J&K phrase. So basically, those two terms are completely opposite to each other. They contrast, but they try to share one single message. So next, for the usage of language, is to use the appropriate language. So whenever you are giving a message, your message can be anything, good or bad, but you need to make it appropriate to the occasion, the audience, the topic, and the speaker. So the way to do that is the use of inclusive language. So in a broader sense, inclusive language tries to not stereotype the meaning on the basis of gender, race, sex, religion, disability, or any kind of those things. That's the basic sense of it. But in a more specific sense, inclusive language tries to avoid all these types of things. First is the generic he use, which is ineffective these days, because we're not only talking to men whenever we're doing a speech, we're talking to women too. So an ineffective example is each time a surgeon walks into the operating room, he risks being sued for malpractice. So he is not a really good use for this sentence, because not all surgeons are men, they're also women. So more effective would be, instead of using he, you could use he or she, or you can even use they. Could be sued for malpractice. The second ineffective would be the use of man, when there are also women here in society. It's pretty much the same as he, but with the word man. So if a large comet struck the Earth, it could destroy all of mankind. So that's kind of putting woman aside. So you want to say, instead of mankind, you could use human life. The next term would be avoid the stereotyping. The effective way would be being a small businessman in the current economic climate is not easy. So that's the stereotype that all business owners are men when they're also women. So you could use being a small business person, or a businessman, or a businesswoman, or a more effective way would be being a business owner. And finally, the self-identifier. So when you're talking to specific groups, you want to use the way they refer to themselves, not the way you would talk about them. So the example is the Paralympics show what handicapped people can accomplish in the athletic arena. So people with disabilities don't call themselves handicapped. So what you should do is use the term they use, so people with disabilities can accomplish the athletic arena, and that's how you should refer to them when talking. Thank you.